This video I am going to take a look at some of the comments on this particular video. The Attorney General given permission to seek a garnishment order against Enoch Burke to recover fines. This video was quite a popular video with a lot of views and a lot of comments, a lot of engagement. So I thought for something new and something novel that I would have a look at the comments and comment on the comments essentially. So here we go. Here there's 149 comments, as you can see there. First one is celebrating what mate. I don't know what this fella's on about, quite frankly. I don't know who's celebrating anything. All I'm doing in the video is reporting what the High Court has decided to do in relation to Enoch Burke's outstanding fine. So the Attorney General has been given permission by the High Court to seek a garnishment order against Enoch Burke, and in this video I explain what that will involve. It could be a garnishment order against his accounts or against his wages. I've explained that in the video. So the question here, this fella is on about celebrating what, I don't know what comment or what he's referring to there. The next one then, thanks for explaining what a garnishment order means. No problem, thanks Terry for explaining this. Surely this nation's AG has more important things to be doing rather than insinuating himself into this dispute. He must have been pissed off at being buttonholed by the Burke family last week at an event. You'd have to wonder why the country AG would choose to involve himself in what is a dispute which has nothing to do with him. Pathetic behaviour on the part of the AG, in my opinion. I don't agree with this man, Seamus Webber. The AG is concerned about the rule of law and the court orders not being brought into disrepute by people simply ignoring them. And if it's Enoch Burke today that's ignoring a High Court order, it'll be somebody else tomorrow and somebody else tomorrow, and the whole system, quite frankly, will fall into disrepute. So the AG has a legitimate interest in protecting the judicial system and protecting and upholding the rule of law, and that's why he has insinuated himself into this. He's also done so at the invitation of the High Court, quite frankly, because Enoch Burke hasn't paid his fines and the school has no interest, quite frankly, in doing anything further with Enoch Burke and have no interest in pursuing the fines. They have no legitimate interest in running up more costs. They've incurred significant costs already, so that's why they have no interest in it. And the High Court is concerned with court orders simply being ignored, and that cannot be allowed to continue. So it was actually the High Court who suggested that he wanted to hear from the Department of Education and perhaps the Attorney General's office as to what they're going to do in relation to the outstanding fines, which makes a mockery, quite frankly, of a fine imposed on somebody for no TV licence or whatever. This comment here then, Daniel 7, the Lord bless you and put a blessing in the foundation of your new building project. I'm not going to make any comment on that. Christopher 342, this one cannot believe the state thinks it's ethical to torment and mentally abuse the citizens solely for no other reason than because they can. I don't accept that comment as well founded or well intentioned. I don't accept it. I think it's nonsense, quite frankly. This is a dark corner the state has just turned. No, it's not. This is an implementation of a court order, and it is an upholding of the rule of law in the state, and that's what this is about. And the question of ethics to torment and mentally abuse a citizen simply does not arise. This next chap here, Gerard Coyne, about time anyone else would have not been allowed to defy orders to this extent. Only fair, thanks Terry. That's absolutely what I believe to be the position. It is only fair. Everybody, including me, are amenable to the law, we're answerable to the law, and if I'm fined going home this evening for speeding and I get a fixed penalty notice and I don't pay it and I have a fine, I cannot simply ignore it or rip it up or go about my business secure in the knowledge that I can ignore fines. I can't. I have to pay the fine. It's very, very simple. Can you believe it? These people are insane. This fella doesn't, or this woman, Elizabeth McCarthy, doesn't actually indicate who she is describing as insane, but there is one reply here, and Prometheus 43 clearly believes that he cannot believe that Enoch Burke's still getting paid, and yes, he agrees with you that he and his whole family exhibit perfectly the behaviours of the insane variety. So he took it that Elizabeth McCarthy was referring to the Burkes. Disgraceful, it will backfire, Seamus Charles, blah blah blah. Prometheus 43, fabulous tie, Terry, and thanks for the explainer. Thank you very much. I hope, or I'm glad you like the tie. Approximately 40% of comments have been garnished. I'm not sure what this man means, or this man or woman, this person means by this comment. I haven't a clue, quite frankly. It's actually a waste of time commenting on this channel. Most of my comments have disappeared. What are you afraid of, Terry? Joe Kavanagh is whittering on incessantly, repeatedly, about his comments being removed, and quite frankly they are so inane that there's no point removing them. I leave them up there for the merriment, quite frankly, of everybody. So you can see here every few days he puts up a comment saying that his comments are being removed, and I leave his comment there. This is like a dog chasing after a car, and eventually someday, as in the Finbar Fury story, going to Christmas Mass, they'll actually slam the brakes on the car, and what's the dog going to do? That's a bit like this Joe Kavanagh fella. Afraid of the likes of J.D. Vance or Trump. I don't know what this... anyway, Dermot McGann, Grand Oaks Limited. This is Frank Trapp making reference to a case where a garnishment or attachment order was made before, but he suggested that this is somehow novel or groundbreaking. But I mean, to get an attachment order of someone's wages is not novel at all. It's absolutely standard, and I've done it myself on behalf of a lady, for example, who was due acts or maintenance money from a recalcitrant partner. This chap here likes my tie, thank you very much. Lad willing to turn up for work, country gone mad. He has no work to turn up to because he was dismissed. So aim in English, he should be turning up somewhere else, if anywhere else would give him a job. Frank Trapp, legally the AG is new territory here, no precedent to rely on from an Irish perspective. There's no difficulty, I can't see, Frank, from the point of view of getting a garnishment order against property or against wages. The fact that the AG is involved might be novel, but otherwise it's a perfectly standard procedure. Michael Travers, a young man left court yesterday with a slap in the wrist, having killed a man and leaving his family devastated. Enoch's crime was walking on school grounds with a bag on his shoulder and willing to work for his salary. The world has gone bonkers. Farmer VP, come on Terry, this is a load of crap. He's still been paid his wage because they can't fire him for doing nothing wrong. That's completely and utterly false. That is nonsense. That's wrong. He is only been paid by the Department of Education because the outcome of his appeal against his firing, his dismissal, hasn't gone ahead yet, and the reason it hasn't gone ahead is because he has actually prevented it from going ahead by going to the High Court seeking another injunction to prevent his appeal going ahead. Now, if he's getting paid by the Department of Education, and well, you can figure out yourself why he might go to the High Court and look for an injunction to prevent his appeal from going ahead. But this fella is talking about they can't fire him for doing nothing wrong. That's absolutely nonsense. They've dismissed him like in January 2023, effective April 2023. This fella Bob Buckley, all he needed and needs to do, in my opinion, is to stop trespassing. That's it, Bob. That's all he has to do. Stop trespassing on private property. Wilson's Hospital School, like any citizen, has an entitlement to protect his property and enjoy his property. Has a constitutional right to do so. Joe Kavanagh, do they seriously think that Burke is going to hand over details of his financial affairs? Oh wow, maybe it's the same details he gave to receive his wages. Maybe Joe thoughts a year knows, 2 thoughts a year knows better. Again, my reply has been removed. Nice one. You can see yourself there that I don't know what he is talking about. Terry, are you gloating now, mate? Number 1, I'm not your mate. And number 2, no, I'm not gloating, but some of these comments are funny. Would you mind explaining why Enoch Burke is still being paid? The Department of Education pays every school teacher who has been dismissed, who lodges an appeal against his dismissal. They're paid until the outcome of the appeal. Because, let's face it, if an appeal goes ahead and the teacher is successful with his appeal, well then, you know, the fact that they've been paid all along, it makes sense. And if they haven't been paid all along, well then they're entitled to be paid. So rather than go through any rigmarole. The Department of Education simply has a policy of paying the wages until the appeal of the dismissal is determined, and as I say, that hasn't happened yet because Enoch Burke has delayed it and gone to the High Court and sought an injunction in the High Court, the very court whose orders he ignores. He has sought an order from the same High Court preventing the appeal from going ahead and objecting to the presence of a trade union person on the appeal panel because he said the trade union person was biased. Don Challenger, what happens if Enoch Burke keeps his savings in the pretty bread box or under his mattress or his parents' mattress? We'll see what happens. He's supposed to swear an affidavit for the High Court. I think it's for this Friday, not 100%, because obviously the High Court has to assess what his assets are and so on and so forth. But the High Court is looking for an affidavit. Whether it gets it or not is another thing, and if it doesn't get it, what will happen then? Will he be jailed again for the breach of a High Court order? I don't know. We'll wait and see. Never be paid. Not sure what this fella's the Gazumpi is. Gaz Murphy is saying. He's saying the fines will never be paid. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Don Challenger, maybe Mr. Trump will insinuate himself into this case. He seems to be an avid legal beagle and give the family a pardon. I don't know how that sexual deviant and convicted felon could give a pardon to any Irish citizen. First time in the history of the state. It's not the first time that a garnishment or attachment order has been sought. The only novel aspect, Frank, is the fact that the AG is involved, but this is a unique case. It saddens me, Patrick Deneen, what Enoch Burke and his family are going through. He wants to work for his salary, but he's not allowed. He's entitled to his Christian faith. Nobody's denying him he's entitled to his Christian faith, but he can't work for his salary because he doesn't have a job now. He was actually dismissed in January 2023, effective April 2023. What has happened to Ireland, saints and scholars, God help us. It's a secular state, and the church doesn't hold the same sway that it did one time, thanks be to God, which is ironic. Could he move his money from his bank now, or is it too late? Yeah, he probably could, but the upmanship is strong on this one. Not sure what this fella's referring to. Thanks for giving us the good news, Terry. Declan Kelly is happy with it anyway. Gerta says shameful behaviour, transfer your money to overseas. So Irish taxpayer money, transfer it overseas and don't pay the fines. And Gerta is the very one who would be up in arms if somebody imposed a fine on her. I saw you doing your walking. You need to drink beetroot juice every day. I got mine in Tesco but saw it cheaper on eBay. You're welcome. John Carr, thanks for the health advice. Not before time, absolutely ridiculous according to Paul 5520. That's the view of many people. Thank you, Terry. Is that a rainbow tie? I've replied here to say that it's a hand-painted silk tie. I'm not sure about the other appellation. Claret 4381 says how beautiful it is. I like it anyway. It's my tie, and I like colourful ties. I like silk ties. I like hand-painted ties. Take your money out of that account, so you knock. It says Rosary 8290 about bloody time. This fella says great ties. This fella says now there is a tie, so there you go. You have a good cross section, I think, of the comments on this particular video, and hope you like it. If you do, I'll do other of a similar video, similar type of video, where I'll be commenting on the comments on various videos that I make. But for now, I'm going to have to call a halt here. Hope you liked the video. Hit the thumbs up button down below.